Well, first I'll come to him, but when you heard that a self-styled medical doctor has found a way into the board of the National Health Insurance Authority, and the fact that this was somebody who was actually on another media platform and was hosting a program for a long time as a medical doctor, okay, I don't know what was going through your mind when you heard of this development. And for you, what for you is the bigger conversation out there?
I think it casts a slur on our media and the government.
Okay.
Because what it does is that, what checks does the media do before they put people on TV?
Okay.
Because now you get pastors, self-acclaimed medical professionals, people selling all sorts of medicine and so on, coming on our airwaves, on our TVs, to talk about things that they may not even have knowledge on, or they may not even have the qualified or certificate or standardized certificates on. And they come out and they say these things as the truth to deceive people. I got shocked when I saw the videos. Initially, I was seeing information about her on social media, but I've not seen the video that she was a health professional having a particular program on one of the media stations.
Yeah.
So when I saw, I was shocked. I was like, what kind of checks did they do to put her on live TV, for her to put out some of these things, informing people and so on? She's not a professional medical doctor, but then it's out there that she's a professional medical doctor. So I believe that as a country, we've gotten to the point where we need to do these checks and balances. I know the state apparatuses have various ways of checking some of these things. Before you are even appointed to some sensitive positions, they let the NIB and so on do a background check of you and all those things. I don't know how they missed it. Maybe in the haste to create some of these boards and appointments, maybe they missed it and didn't do due diligence. But it's interesting, and I'm glad that they've been able to revoke it. The media, the social media uproar necessitated this. Initially, when the issue came, I think the government delayed it, because I saw the news items and the issues flying on social media a week before even the appointment came out. I think one journalist, Okatechi, had indicated that he was privy to information that the lady was going to receive appointment. After he had done his show, then true to his words, on Monday, just this last week Monday, the appointment letter came that he had been appointed to the board. So it means that even after somebody in the media had hinted that there were issues, the government didn't go to the extent of doing due diligence on her. It was after civil society and other people started commenting on the issues based on the evidence available, that she said she had attended John Hopkins University and attained a GP of 4.0. More, you and I knows what it takes to attain a GP of 4.0.
Oh, God.
Okay, it is not easy, especially being a university like John Hopkins. Obviously, it is clear that definitely such institutions, Ivy League institutions, if you attain a GP of 4.0, it will be easy to find out. And she put out all these things, and we let it go. So I'm glad that today he's been taken off the board and replaced. But then these kind of mistakes, it's too early for the government to be making such mistakes. If you start at this level, I don't know the kind of mistakes that you make as time goes on. This is just like 5 months into the government. I think they are getting out of the honeymoon period. And it's quite unfortunate that this lady has come to cast a slur on whatever they are doing. But I would say we are a country where we kind of support some of these things, because Dr. UN came and started giving awards. And a lot of our celebrities, public officials and so on fell to his traps. By the time it came out that he was a fake doctor and the awards was not genuine and so on, people had been embarrassed. And today the same thing is happening here. I know there are a lot of people even within NDC who have the qualifications, they are health professionals and so on, who campaigned for the NDC to come to power. Quite surprisingly, I've been watching social media and some of them complain because some of them expected that they will even get a board to represent. So the question a lot of them are asking is, how did she manage her way onto the board? And these are some of the questions you expect. But it shouldn't end there. I think there should be investigations because, you see, she has misrepresented herself. She has, how do you call it? She has more or less represented herself as a medical doctor, which is not true. Because the Ghana Medical Association, I think there was a letter to that effect, and they came that she's not a medical professional in Ghana. And people have also written to John Hopkins, and they've also responded based on an ROI, and they've also responded that her records are not found in their own. I've seen a document circulating on social media. I don't know how true it is. Purported to be her CV. And on that document, I've seen that she attended University of Ghana between 2005 to 2008 and did tourism management.
Yes.
But my question is, university is 4 years. So why would it be 2005 to 2008, which is 3 years? And even if so, most people who are privy to how the universities work and their courses know that between 2004 to 2008, most of our universities were not offering tourism management. Tourism management is a course that I think over the last decade or so, most of the universities have introduced. So it begets knowledge how all these things happen, and she was able to, let me choose my words carefully, put together such character to deceive people in that way. But well, I believe the security agencies have to take up this matter and investigate further so that we will have the full briefing of how this mishap happening. And most importantly, I'm also looking at the revocation letter that came on 23rd.
Okay.
And the appointment and the
day of revocation.
Yes, swearing in. Because the appointment came on the 19th, which was Monday. I think the swearing in was done 2 days ago.
Yes.
And then a revocation letter comes out on 23rd. What I've been asking myself is whether the National Health Insurance Authority received the revocation letter before the swearing in.
Yes, that's a very valid question.
She attended it or not. And even if she didn't attend it, maybe it could be that she wasn't around. Even if she didn't attend it, did they make the revocation letter available to her? These are questions that people are asking. And I believe maybe when they investigate these issues, all these things will come to light.
But you clearly think that somebody should be held responsible for this?
No, I think she herself should be held responsible.
But she didn't put herself on the board.
No, but she misrepresented information to whoever appointed her.
That's one aspect of the issue. But
You know the NCA case?
Yes.
The NCA case where there was a director for IT or something.
Yes.
Gave false information. These things happen if you go to the universities. People submit false certificates to the universities.
Yeah.
And they get admission. It is after they've entered the universities, then the university will do ACE check because they submit the certificates back for authentication. So you realize that sometimes getting to the end of first semester, the universities will bring a list of people that they believe to have submitted fake certificates, and then they would have dismissed them. So when people are committing crime or these things, you can't obviously be able to anticipate what they will do. Once the person has submitted a fake document to the appointing authorities, and it has, based on oversight, they've done this thing, they have to correct it. And it's good they've corrected it. But then in correcting it, there should be action to it, there should be consequences to it. And that consequences should reflect in whatever investigations they do. So I don't want to commit myself to say, okay, somebody committed an act that that person should be hounded out immediately. But I expect that investigation should be carried out on this matter so that we know whether it was other people, there were other people involved, whether it's just the lady who is supposed to face the law, or whether the lady and other people within the appointing authority. Because I believe this board issue didn't even get, I'm sure it didn't get to some attention maybe in the Jubilee House. Maybe they submitted and they got approval, and it went.
My question was that wasn't the I don't want to call it the fakeness, for want of a better word. I mean, it was. Look, yesterday.
It was obvious.
So I'll tell you something. Yesterday, before we started Good Morning Ghana, my colleague Annie approached me and said, "Look, how did this doctor, this Sansa Daly doctor, whoever she is, how did she end up as a board member of National Health Insurance Authority?"
But the first question is, how did she even end up as a show host?
No, remember, we are not even there yet. In fact, she brought it up. In fact, she actually wanted us to run with that story yesterday. Of course, she determines what stories we should treat and so on and so on and so forth. And I recall at the time, Kwesi Pratt was here, and the other gentleman was Kwesi Pratt and
Collins Hadma.
Collins. No, it wasn't Collins. It was Kwesi Pratt and yes, Isaac Nyako.
Yeah.
And what we said was that in fact, some of us didn't even. We thought it was. So my reaction was, how? So I also said, so how did that happen, right? And we were expecting that something would have been done a few minutes even after she said it, because we just thought this was public knowledge, right? And lo and behold, as if she knew this was going to happen, she said, "We did here. We'll see what happens." And a few hours later, we're told the president had revoked her appointment because she was shocked. I mean, Annie just couldn't believe it, and she wanted us to run with it. We said, "Oh, we relax more. Let's see what happens." You know what I mean? Because you see, was in the news. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a gentleman called Niyama Matefiu.
Yeah.
He sometime must have been a week or 2 weeks ago or so. He went on social media and actually exposed, that look, this woman was not a medical doctor, so everybody should be wary of her.
I think I started seeing it 2 weeks ago.
You saw that publication?
I saw it 2 weeks ago.
And of course later he also came and made some apology and gave reasons why he gave that apology, but it wasn't about whether her status was authentic or not. But he made some apology because I don't know, but I suspect perhaps he was called upon to retract because some people were not comfortable with it. You know what I mean? My point is that this was a matter which was of public knowledge. So if it is of public knowledge, who at all would say that he's ignorant about the thickness of this woman's status as a medical doctor?
Quite embarrassing. And
then go ahead and even, appoint her as a board member of not some small institution. We're talking about National Health Insurance Authority. Just when I think about the thing, I don't understand. How?
Well, Moro, let me end.
And you see, when you do these things, it embarrasses the president.
That was what I was coming to. That if now this issue, if you try to take the president out, what it tells is that the president is not the appointing authority. He didn't know of the appointment.
Of course, he would take decisions based on what he would
information
deem to
he will be given.
Sound advice.
If you put the president
into him,
it embarrasses the whole presidential architecture.
Of course it does.
That they didn't do their checks well. So this is an embarrassment. It's a total embarrassment.
Anyway,
Moro, I think that is quite a challenging issue. I'm aware that before people are appointed into positions of responsibility, some due diligence is done on them by state institutions. Those is BN and they call NIB. They will go all the way down to your days in primary school, all the way to your GSS, current school, and all that, and try to be sure that you are exactly who you claim you are. And when a government takes office, the president takes office, the president appoints almost 5,000 people to every position. There's no way any president under the sun can know all these 5,000 plus people that he appoints directly himself. And so majority of these appointments are done that based on recommendations and all that. CVs are picked. The CVs are forwarded to the various investigative bodies to do some background checks on the people and all that. So far, we haven't heard that apart from this particular issue, that all the persons who have been appointed have any reason or any doubtful reason for which those appointments shouldn't have been in place. It's quite unfortunate, but the good news is that appointment was issued on the 19th of May, 4 days after they got information that no, the person who they've appointed is not who she claims she is. And so on the 23rd of May, the appointment was revoked. That's just about 4 days. They claimed that the woman was sworn in. In fact, the swearing in took place on the 27th, and the woman was not there at all. So she was not sworn in at all as a board member of National Health Insurance. I think it's important to make that point very strongly. She was appointed through on the 19th. The revocation was done 4 days after.
Yeah.
The woman didn't get the opportunity to be sworn in as a board member of National Health Insurance. I agree with my brother when he says that we need to investigate this issue further.
I agree.
We don't need to leave it at that point. And this things, Moro, not to justify what has happened,
Yeah.
but like he rightly said, go to our universities. I remember years back at Legon, somebody walked up to me, the fellow came to level 100. I think I was in 300 of 100 then. And said, he wants to travel abroad. The person was so desperate about going abroad, I didn't know what was going on. It was in level 100. And sometimes he doesn't even go for lectures. It's like always, anytime you meet him,
He's dodgy.
I want to travel.
Yeah.
So after the first year, I didn't see the gentleman again in school. Then later, I think the notice was put out, and I heard that he faked his certificate that he brought to the university. So like he said, Legon after I have entered, they will send all the certificate back to WAEC
Yes.
to authenticate
Exactly.
the certificates.
Exactly.
So this guy might have come in, it's a motive that, okay, you know what, let me get admission, use the admission to get a visa.
So they normally use the admission to get introductory letter.
Introductory
Yes.
letter from
Get
the
a
school,
visa.
get a visa and then come out of the country.
Yeah.
That was all the motive. Now in this country, we have heard about people who have practiced as lawyers. They go to court for several years. Before it comes out that apparently they are not even lawyers. This same medical field, we have heard people who say they are doctors and they have practiced for several years, in some cases 14, 15 years, before we get to know that, after all, they are not qualified doctors who practice in our jurisdiction. I'm just wondering what the case was in those days that we didn't have this artificial intelligence and this technology today. That somebody can even travel abroad, go and pick the PhD thesis or master's thesis of another person out there and just come and reproduce the same thing. And the university wouldn't have any way of cross-checking them. But all this is online. And so they can easily plagiarism and those things. There's no way you could check in those days. You understand? And so those of you are here, somebody come from America, come from whatever it is in Europe and say, oh, I've gone to so and so university and this is the certificate I have. And they've been allowed to work. I think that by the grace of God, because of technology now, these things can easily be checked 1 minute.
Yeah.
Those living passports, people go and get visas, then they will remove the passport section and the visa section and put in somebody else's passport for the fellow to travel. Now they will take your biodata and everything.
Yeah.
And so you don't even need your passport again to do anything.
Yeah.
I am happy that
and a simple...
it came very quickly to the knowledge of the appointing authority, and the appointing authority also did the needful. But all of us are saying that it shouldn't end at this point. This lady should be handed over to the police or whichever investigative body. We need to interrogate further. We need to investigate further because this is impersonation, right?
Yes.
So we need to know
and
exactly
the seat of a public officer.
A public officer.